Authority meeting to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Beckles, Commissioner Broadwater,
Here.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Commissioner Wynn,
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Here.
Vice Chair Fawn,
Here.
Chair Beard.
Here. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call we'll have oral communications, and I have two cards here on the Housing Authority for oral communications. Mr. Charles Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the authority. My main concern is the fact that the ownership of the parking lot on the west side of Main Street has now become a part of the Housing Authority, which gives them the right to sell that property to a developer. Now, the bread and butter of any business is access, and parking is the key to access. If you don't have enough spaces for your customers to come to your business, their businesses will fold, and many of them have for that very reason. That's why many of us in Garden Grove object to the idea of taking out that parking lot and putting in condominiums. I think it will be the end of Main Street as we know it, because there will not be any easy access to those businesses, places that have been in there since, well, almost 80 years ago. And I think it's important that we realize Main Street is a fundamental part of Garden Grove. And if we take this action of the parking lot going to a developer, we face the prospect of losing our Main Street completely. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh McIntosh?
I'm going to hold off for all communications.
Okay. Seeing no more cards for the Housing Authority, we move on to number 2, consent items. Anyone care to pull anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve?
I'll second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Item number 3, public hearings, adoption of the Garden Grove Housing Authority's annual plan for fiscal year 2014-15. Is there a staff report?
Yes, there is, and Dan Wynn will give the staff front of the slide.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. The item before you tonight is the fiscal year 2014 annual plan. The Housing Authority is required to submit this annual plan to the Department of Housing and Urban Development prior to April 17th. In 2013, the Garden Grove Housing Authority received a CMAP score of 100 out of 100 points, which qualifies the authority as a high-performing agency. As a high-performing agency, the authority is only required to complete an abbreviated format of the annual plan. A resident advisory board, comprised of 6 tenant participants of the Housing Choice Voucher Program, has reviewed the plan and their comments are attached. The public hearing has been properly noticed on January 8th and 15th. It is recommended that the Housing Authority conduct the public hearing and adopt the 2014 annual plan. That concludes my report, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. We'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter?
Good evening. My name is Josh McIntosh, fourth-generation resident of Garden Grove, and concerned about the Housing Authority and the general plan. And I do apologize. I'm sort of going to be combining some items here tonight because, well, we have a lot of departments in the city. They kind of intertwine with each other, and so my comments will intertwine, and hopefully my representatives will take note of them, and my words will be put down on record for this annual report. Garden Grove Housing Authority's mission is serving the needs of low-income, very low-income, and extremely low-income families. So with that said, where does Steve Sheldon's condominiums that are planned to be developed in Main Street's west side parking lot fall into place? Would these be for the low, the very low, or the extremely low-income people? I doubt if any of them are going to be able to afford to live in those condos. As I look at the developments built in 2013 on page 10 of the status of the general plan, I'm seeing a lot of developments I can't imagine any of our low-income residents being able to afford to move into. I do recognize these locations, though. These used to be mostly single-family homes on nice-sized plots of land in our city. They became high-density, or as the city likes to call it, community residential. It seems the term high-density is a bad word. It's not used anywhere in the general plan. The general plan calls it community residential. On page 4, the general plan circulation element, it deals with the traffic problems that we are constantly adding to with this redevelopment of these former properties. It suggests the city encourage our pedestrians, more pedestrian usage, more bicycle riding, as if that's going to alleviate the problem. Well, who remembers last council meeting when the parents of our students across the street at Garden Grove High School ignored every posted sign in the parking lot here at the community center, just as they have tonight, and this parking lot is completely filled with people that could ride their bikes or be pedestrians. I don't think they're too willing to do that, although our report makes it sound like that's going to happen. Maybe enforcing that parking rule would be a good start. I have a suggestion as how the city can meet its yet unmet requirements for establishing low-income housing to our senior citizens. The city wants to develop a property just 4 doors down from my house on Stanford Avenue. It's known as Residential Site 1. This was formerly the location of the Reeder House, the longest standing structure in our city, built in 1877, which luckily has been preserved at the Stanley Ware Ranch. I would hope that the city would consider developing a senior residence here. It would be in close proximity to the Lake Senior Center, bus routes, and for at least right now, it's still a relatively peaceful neighborhood. Another Stanford-related item worth mentioning is the image of my house on the cover page of Chapter 2 of the General Plan. Thanks for including me. Sorry, I lost my place. Yeah, thanks for including me. The page is 8 pages into Chapter 2 of that General Plan. We find Focus Area E1, Civic Center. We see the city's key ideas for making Main Street, or for the future of Main Street, beginning on page 9. I was pretty irritated to see that the city wants to relocate the Gem Theater. The Gem is one of the city's historic landmarks. It was historically a popular place for entertainment. Sadly, the Gem is seldom open these days and has gone through several unsightly renovations, which have stripped away its original character, much as we're doing to the city all around. But it's still a local historic landmark, and I'm not happy about our plans for it. Even worse is the city's consideration of demolishing Main Street and adding an urban plaza with an amphitheater. I have long suspected that our goal has been to erase every last bit of history just to put another condo on it, but now it's here in black and white and we can read it. You know, we already have an amphitheater near Main Street. It's that vacant theater next to the other vacant theater. I'm not happy about the future of our city if everybody gets their way. There will be nothing left that identifies that we are Garden Grove. We lost our last strawberry field not long ago. It looks like Main Street is next. As our elected representatives, please hear these words and understand that the residents do care about the history of this city just as much as the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further public testimony? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the authority. Any comments, questions? Entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Call for the vote.
Motion receives 6 yes votes.
Any matters from the commissioners? Seeing none?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, please.
I congratulate the Housing Authority on attaining its 100% status.
Congratulations. So, anything else? We'll move to adjournment.
Okay, at this time, we'll open up the Garden Grove City Council for its regular meeting. Thank you for being here, Housing Authority. Oh, I wouldn't mind doing that. Ms. Bailey, will you please call roll?
Councilmember Jones?
Here.
Councilmember Fawn?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nguyen?
Here.
Mayor Broadwater?
Here. Okay, at this time, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance with, oh, we're going to do that, okay. That's okay, Peggy. We'll have the invocation by Kingsley, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance with
He's called me that before.
Councilman Nguyen.
All right, please prepare yourself according to your faith. Dear Lord, we ask for your presence over this council meeting. We ask that you bestow your blessings and wisdom to everyone here today. May your hand guide the discussions and the decisions made here this evening for the benefit of all in our Garden Grove community. Amen.
Amen.
Please face our flag and say the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, it's my understanding, first of all, we need a report on what happened in closed session. Could you give us that report, Mr. Nixon?
Yes, I would, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the City Council and the agency, which were both in closed session on the Lamone litigation, there was no reportable action on that matter. As to the City Council being in closed session regarding the initiation of litigation, the City Council did authorize the initiation of litigation with regard to 4 separate matters as to the owners, operators, and property owners of the All Greens facility located at 8851 Garden Grove Boulevard, West Meds facility located at 10141 Westminster number L, the Cali Relief facility located at 13133 Brookhurst number B, and the facility located at 13133 Brookhurst number A. And as I say, the City Council authorized initiation of litigation against all of those facilities and their property owners and operators.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to recognize Scout Troop 1999, and one of these troops will be 1492. But anyway, stand up, guys. We'd like to take a look at you. You're all here. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you again. Okay, it's my understanding that we have a presentation.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like Mr. Okariki to make this presentation this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Fattel. This evening, the Garden Grove City Council is pleased to recognize 2 incredibly dedicated individuals who have been actively supporting the Garden Grove Police Department's DUI efforts by volunteering at almost all Garden Grove DUI checkpoints for the past decade. Would John and Hayes Salitor please come forward? This past Saturday, the Garden Grove Police Department's traffic unit conducted a DUI driver's license checkpoint on Chapman Avenue and Laura Street. The DUI checkpoint was dedicated to the memory of Allison Shala Salitor. On March 26, 1994, John and Hayes' 16-year-old twin daughter, Allison, was picked up by a high school classmate to spend the evening at the movie theater. Allison and her friend were stopped at a traffic light on Valley View Boulevard and Lincoln Avenue when a car going 100 miles per hour struck them from behind. The car Allison was in was hauled into the air and landed 25 feet from the point of impact. Allison was taken comatose to UCI Medical Center. Sadly, she never regained consciousness. The vehicle that hit Allison was driven by an underage drunk driver who tested over twice the legal limit. Since the tragic death of their daughter, John and Hayes have made it their goal to support local law enforcement in the prevention of drunk driving and have been heavily involved in murders against drunk drivers, also known as MAD. Hayes participated in her first DUI checkpoint for Garden Grove in December 1996. Since then, she has made it a priority to be at every DUI checkpoint and has formed a close personal bond with the officers. She believes the Garden Grove Police Department conducts some of the most rigorous checkpoints in North Orange County, and the department is very passionate about the work they do to prevent and apprehend drunk drivers. Both John and Hayes support the efforts of MAD, playing key roles in their annual Law Enforcement and Prosecutor Recognition Luncheon, serving on the MAD Orange County Board of Directors, the MAD Orange County State Representative, and many other fundraising efforts. While John has supported a number of checkpoints over the years, he credits Hayes as the real volunteer for her support in almost all checkpoints in the past decade. Hayes has been recognized numerous times for her efforts in the prevention of drunk driving. She has been recognized twice as Cyprus Citizen of the Year. The Garden Grove Police Association recognized her as a Citizen of the Year in 2012. She has also received the Orange County Volunteerism Award and was given the prestigious Heart of MAD Award in 2010. Their dedication to honoring the life of their deeply loved daughter has made a difference, not only in their own lives, but also to their surrounding communities. Like her mother, Allison was a sensitive and caring individual who always went out of her way to help those in need. At this time, the Garden Grove City Council would like to present John and Hayes with a crystal memento for honoring their daughter's memory in this most noble manner of volunteering for the Garden Grove Police Department's DUI checkpoints all these years. The City of Garden Grove congratulates and thanks both of you for your tireless efforts in keeping Allison's memory alive by preventing and apprehending drunk drivers. Thank you.
We thank you very much for all the effort you put out, and we're sorry for what happened and made it happen. We'd like to give you this. We'd like to give you could have picked that up. Pretty heavy. Anyway, thank you very much. Everybody, let's give them a real hand here. And let's turn around so we can get a picture with you. Sure. Would you like to say a few words?
Well, I don't have any prepared comments, but my wife and I would like to thank the mayor and the rest of the council for recognizing the work that we do with the Garden Grove Police Department. Hayes has worked many checkpoints throughout the county, and there's no better group of law enforcement officers around. They are truly dedicated to preventing and apprehending drunk drivers and educating the public on the dangers of driving while impaired. So it's an honor that we can take the time to work with the Garden Grove Police Department and will continue to do so in the future. So I guess that's all the comments I have, unless Hayes has any. I would like to make just a very small point that Mayor Broadwater, you may not recognize me, but we met probably 20 years ago when you were mayor, and I worked at that time, Pilkington Aerospace. I was an executive there, and we provided bullet-resistant panels for one of the Garden Grove police cars. So maybe you remember that, maybe you don't, but when I saw you, it came to mind.
Well, thank you for doing that also.
You bet. Anyway, again, it's a real honor to be recognized by the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll go to oral communications. Chris Wynn.
Mayor Broadwater, Mayor Pro Tem Wynn. I'm actually with Supervisor Todd Spitzer's office, and I actually have another presentation for John and Hayes Salater on behalf of the Board of Supervisors. I did have some prepared remarks, but Mr. O'Kirky did such a great job. I don't really have any of those, but I will just speak to the humility of John and Hayes Salater. So when we heard about this award, it was actually John was calling our office and was discussing some matter, and he explained that Hayes was going to be honored by the council. He didn't mention that he was going to be honored. And then we spoke to Hayes today, and we found out that John was also going to be honored. So as a result of that, we weren't able to get a resolution for the Board of Supervisors quick enough for John, but we do have one for Hayes. And so I just wanted to present this resolution on behalf of Supervisors Todd Spitzer, Janet Wynn, John Morlock, Vice Chair Patricia Bates, and Chairman Sean Nelson on behalf of the board for all of the work that John and Hayes Salater have done throughout Orange County in trying to make it a better and safer place to live by preventing DUI. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Bonham.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen. I want to address you on the subject of trees. I am a resident, I've been a resident of Garden Grove for now going on 18 years. Sometimes say I'm a refugee from Los Angeles County in the city of Orange. But I live down on Adrian Street, and it's about a 300-yard deep cul-de-sac street. And I mentioned this to Mr. Mayor, and he's been very helpful, and I appreciate that very much. But we have many lovely trees there, several kinds, but aligning on the west side of Adrian Street are these fir trees. Now, there's the very type of trees that you have right out here. As you go out to the parking lot, you'll see right on the right there, next to the building, of these. They're in that coniferous family. I don't know the name. Maybe someone does. But we had the crew come just yesterday, and they cut down 2 of those trees. Now, there was 10 of them. And these are large trees. They're about 70, 80 feet tall. And, trees are not an option. Maybe you like trees a lot. Maybe you just so-so. But we have to have trees. In this time, we must develop ecological consciousness. Trees are extremely important to Southern California. They do many things for us. They absorb toxic gases. Carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide are 2 of them, and heavy particles that come off the street from tires passing over the street. I had a friend that just died from lung cancer, and he wasn't a smoker, but they pick these kind of particles up and hold them until rain comes along, and they also muffle noise, and we get a lot of noise if you go over the street next, down from where I live. In the morning, you can hear the traffic coming from the I-22 and the other freeways, but back in Adrian Street, you don't hardly hear any noise. And they cut down these streets, and there didn't seem to be any apparent reason. It seems like very much a make-work thing. And the man there, I asked the man, he didn't speak much English, but he said, I asked him, why can't you top that tree? Well, they'll die. Well, many of those trees had been topped underneath the power line over on Hastor Street. They're doing fine. And so there wasn't really any reason. It has the smell of a make-work type of thing to me. Now, maybe I've grown a little bit cynical. I'm past 70 and then some. But I am very concerned about trees. We have to have our trees. We have to care for our trees. Our survival as a species depends on our trees. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to have somebody tell me why those trees were taken down on Acadia. Basically, there's got to be some reason that they did that. And I'd like Mr. Boham to, somebody inform him of exactly why those trees were taken down. Okay, let's go on. Steve Ducetti?
Doucette, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Mr. Mayor and City Council members, thank you, and good evening. My name is Steve Doucette, and I teach environmental science at Pacifica High School. Having just finished a unit on water usage, emphasizing the California drought, I felt compelled to come before the City Council to encourage more active enforcement of the permanent water conservation requirements in Section 14.40.025 of the Municipal Code, and also to ask the Council to consider moving us to a Stage 2 water conservation. As you know, on January 17th, Governor Brown proclaimed a state of emergency and directed state officials to take all necessary actions to prepare for the drought conditions. Since then, my students and I have been paying particular attention to water uses and abuses. For example, on March 14th, I saw water spraying from a main water pipe in front of a business at Industry and Belgrave Avenues just across from Pacifica. We measured the flow at 1 gallon every 3 minutes, or 20 gallons per hour. After 2 calls to the city and talking with the tenant, it was finally repaired on March 20th with a total estimated water loss of over 3,000 gallons. Relatively speaking, this is a tiny amount of water and may even be an isolated example. Yet it created an impression with me and my students, especially after seeing videos of farmers leveling tree orchards and leaving productive fields fallow. While for us the water crisis is more a headline than an impending doom, the San Francisco Bay Area and the Santa Clara Valley have begun both voluntary and mandatory cutbacks, and 17 small communities in the Central Valley, as of last week, are at risk of running out of water in 90 days. Because a portion of our water comes from this area through the State Water Project, we feel, my students and I, a connection and obligation to do our part. While not so apparent today, Garden Grove has a long history of being connected to an agrarian base. In our area, Long Beach, Trabuco Canyon, South Coast Water District, Los Angeles County, East Orange County all have moved to implement some level of mandatory water restriction or voluntary. And as of January 14th, Santa Monica, after seeing water abuse citations drop from 128 in 2007 to just 11 citations issued in the last 3 years, is renewing their enforcement of existing water waste ordinances. My hope is that you will consider proactively moving our water conservation level up and renewing our enforcement of existing water waste ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Craig Durfee.
I'm the mayor and staff and citizens of Garden Grove. I would like to draw your attention to the Office of Transportation Safety Law Enforcement, page 5, Secretary Brian B. Kelly, paragraph 4, and it's from fellow Californians to everybody here. Moreover, OTS, which those who don't know are Office of Transportation Safety for Law Enforcement, is also funding new programs to improve pedestrian bicycle safety, including expansion of California Pedestrian Safety Program. Alternative transportation options like walking and bicycling can be a strong component of increase economic vitality and livability, but only if it's truly safe. And through these grants, and local communities across California will receive free, which Garden Grove could help, expert pedestrian bicycle safety assessment materials. Implementing It's Up to All of Us campaign, which is the public health of the state of California looking for it, an effort to seek to reduce fatalities and injuries in active transportation. Public education plays an important part of our year's program. Students and new drivers learn important traffic safety information, including every 15 minutes, real DUI trials in schools and life interpreted. Distracted drivers will be taught to both increase enforcement of cell phone laws and public awareness campaign. Everyone in the state will benefit the California Active Transportation information page called CAS-SIP, an internet site, latest and most useful resource, and encourage promote safety in pedestrian, bicycle, and non-motorized road use. And towards zero, everyone counts is a vision and statement of the Office of Transportation. This plan, implement, and vision will continue this office role a national leader in both thought and action. This agency is unwavering in its support and efforts to goals framed by this report. I was testified before the State Transportation Commission, and I've got to know some of the undersecretary and commission people. And there is, within this framework of OTS, components for rodeos, for bicycles, for law enforcement. There is components to go through Caltrans for the new law, AB 101 and SB 99, which is now implemented. It's the STIP program. The city I've been working with here to give the information for the $130 million over a 3-year period, competitive bidding. And there is funds for law enforcement. I have the document. I can give it to the city. You have please pass the letter if you wish to the council. There's an opportunity to give enforcement funds as well as getting the schools educational funds, maybe in cross guards. I don't know. We have to look into it. But the essence of it is that I have support of the school board to work with the City of Garden Grove, if providing the City of Garden Grove will be the lead agency according to George West. I encourage the city to, and I met with the Honorable City Manager, and I appreciate his comments. I'll work with him. But I think there are some areas that we need to work on to ensure that the October Cycle of Sevilla goes very well. And I have examples of that quickly that in May, OCTA, the Honorable Steve Jones Councilman, is on there. They have the month of May a bike safety camp. Also in southern LA, Kids Bike Festival, April 13th. We don't have this in Garden Grove yet, and we're going to have a cycle event in October. We need to get our students at least an opportunity to get a bike tune-up and able to address the safety and make sure we have a census of the school board as to how many bike helmets we need, how much money we need to raise through our, like City of Anaheim has through Farmers Fund and Disneyland supporting it so that we have a well-attended and well-orchestrated event. Thank you.
Josh McIntosh.
Hello, I'm Josh McIntosh. Johnny Cash used to say that right before he'd sing every time. And
You say, hello, Josh McIntosh?
he said, hello, I'm Johnny Cash. So a few weeks ago, oh, hey, I found a button up here. Is anybody's? Hey, a few weeks ago, I did my little Johnny Cash rendition of Folsom Prison Blues with the Garden Grove Blues. And I know that, each council meeting I come up here and I might come off as a real downer, really negative. But I do recognize our general plan's got a lot of good things in it. There are some really good things in it that were exciting. But as I mentioned earlier during the Housing Authority part, there are some parts that just drive me nuts, like bulldozing Main Street. So Johnny used to, he said he'd always be the man in black until all the problems were fixed, in the world. And unfortunately, I might always be the downer at the city council meeting until all the problems are fixed. So with that said, I think we need to renegotiate our recent contract with Santa Ana in regards to the train. Okay, this was in the paper this morning. Cost concerns now baggage for Santa Ana streetcar plan. We recently, I think, 4 weeks ago or something, we signed on as partners with Santa Ana in this. Well, in today's paper, a major streetcar project in Santa Ana and Garden Grove got another seal of approval from local transportation officials Monday amidst public questioning about its large and growing price tag. Cost estimates for the streetcar are now pegged at a minimum of $238 million. By comparison, providing increased bus service along the same route with traffic signal priority to buses is projected to cost just $16 million. At Monday's OCTA Authority Board meeting, Director John Morlock wondered aloud what the advantages are of a streetcar system that costs well over $200 million more than an enhanced bus system. What makes it distinctively different from a bus? What are we getting out of this that makes us so unique? Santa Ana Mayor Miguel Polito, who's been there for a million years, has been an outspoken advocate for the streetcar and replied that it would use some areas not currently available to buses. Well, if we paved the PE right away, we could use buses. The project also drew scrutiny from OCTA Chairman Sean Nelson, who questioned why the streetcar's cost has grown from roughly $23 million per mile in each direction to $29 million. Polito drew scrutiny in addition from a county grand jury for secretly working to award the streetcar's $5 million planning contract to a firm that gave thousands of dollars to his re-election campaign. The company, Cordoba Corp., had been listed lowest ranked company for the job, and one of its subcontractors ended up running $488,000 over budget. It also later emerged that Cordoba hired a project manager who had served prison time for bribing public officials. Do we really want to get our hands in on that? Can we steer clear of this? Can we say, let's renegotiate this, let's save over $200 million? It might be a good idea. I mean, I'm not that rich of a guy, but $200 million, that's a whole heck of a lot of money. I think we should consider this. Look at the plans, consider a bus. $200 million. Buys a lot of laptops for kids. There's so many good uses we could do with that, rather than granting this developer his dream contract. Please think about it. Think about your people. Act responsibly, and thank you.
At this time, we will close oral communication, and we will recess the city council and go to the we'll go to the successor agency.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Member Broadwater?
Here.
Member Wynn? Here. Member Fawn?
Here.
Vice Chair Beard?
Here.
Chair Jones?
Here. We already had a reporting out of the closed session item. We already had oral communications in conjunction with City Council. I'm sorry, that was on. Okay, so consent items.
Move to approve.
Second.
Before we get to that vote, Madam Clerk, was there any issues with the timing issue that we had talked about? Or not for this one?
They have been fixed on the final copy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Motion and a second. Call to vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Any matters?
I would just like to point out that, oh no, that's okay, I'll save that.
Go ahead. Well,
I'm pre-thinking.
Okay, then we'll adjourn back to council.
We'll go to the Sanitation District now.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Member Broadwater?
Here.
Member Jones?
Here.
Member Wynne?
Here.
Vice President Beard?
Here.
President Vaughn.
Here, we've taken care of oral communications. We'll go to consent items. The receive and file minutes from August 13th and September 24th of 2013. Do I have a
Second.
call for a vote, please?
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
And we will adjourn and reconvene on Tuesday, April 22nd. Back to council.
Okay, at this time, we'll reopen the city council, and we will go to consent items. No, yes, consent items.
That's right, Mr. Mayor. It's items 5A through 5G, and it's recommended that these items be acted on simultaneously unless a council member would like a separate discussion.
I'll move the whole balance.
I second that.
Before we get there, I'd like to pull, is it 5E, please? Is that the matters with the increase of $150,000 or so?
Yep.
For the cost of fire equipment?
Somebody make a motion for
Move
the
the
balance.
balance.
We have a motion for the balance.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay, let's go to 5E.
My question I had for that one was, are we in a position, Chief, to possibly cancel or to terminate the contract with the existing provider? Because apparently, based on my review, they're not doing their job properly.
I think that could be possible once we kind of get up and running with Keystone. Gulls has kind of changed their delivery model. Same kind of situation the police department had. But once we kind of test the waters with Keystone, I think we can go ahead and do that if that's what you'd like, sir.
And as far as the termination based on the grounds of their poor performance, would that have any negative impact on the city as far as possible suits or anything like that for causing the termination, to your knowledge?
It's just a purchase order we have with them as well, so I'm assuming we can cancel that at any time.
So this was definitely unforeseeable as far as this request for the extra $150,000 that we're being asked to approve?
Yeah, I mean, that's just a not-to-exceed amount, and it's based upon the normal replacements of uniform and equipment over a year's period of time for the fire department.
Thank you, Chief.
I have a question, too. Just follow up to that. So could this be budget neutral in that we're asking for $150,000 more, but we may be using the other company
Well, that's just
$150,000 less?
it. We already have that amount set aside to spend it at Gulls,
Mm-hmm.
but because we're not buying from Gulls, we're going to buy at Keystone. We're still going to spend the same $150,000.
Correct. So it's budget neutral, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I do believe that the questions you ask about legal, I mean, anybody can sue anybody anytime they want, you know. We just saw what was happening in the closed session, so, I mean, there may be a lawsuit, but we'll take it on as we get it. I can't see that it's doing anything that's going to create one, you know. I mean, the other uniform store Gulls is not doing their job properly, and our guys are, we're going to have to do the police work and the fire work in their own civilian clothes pretty quick.
But with Gulls, though, there's no fixed term pricing, right? I mean, we're not obligated to buy anything from them for a certain amount of money.
No, it's just a per replacement cost.
Gotcha. Okay.
Somebody want to make a motion for 5E?
Move approval.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Matters from the city council members and city manager. Mr. Chris Baird.
I want to welcome Troop 1999. I see some familiar faces, the leaders and the scouts. My 3 sons, my 3 Eagle Scouts, were all members of Troop 1999, and I understand they're working on their communications merit badge as well as their citizenship in the community. And welcome to the city council. Hopefully you can stay afterwards for some photos with the council members and the mayor. And related to that, I think the motto is still be prepared, correct? Okay. We had a speaker talk about the drought situation. I was like to consider having a workshop on the preparedness of the city related to the drought. I know we're doing pretty well. It'd be good to let folks know what we are doing or the enforcement capability. So it's just an idea I'm throwing out there for a future date if we the council, I know I would be interested, and I surely could be educated more on what we have on the books related to any enforcement related to overwatering. So, but I know we're prepared as a city. I just think others should be aware of what we're prepared to do and what we may have to do down the road. So I just throw that out for future consideration. I want to comment on Valley View is still moving forward. That's a big issue on my end of town. That's where I live, and we're bearing with it. We, the residents on that side of the city, as people on Euclid and other major arteries are. So I commend the folks on that end of town for carrying on, and it's a difficult and inconvenient situation, but it's a necessary situation. It's going to prove to be beneficial in the long run over the 20, 30-year cycle that this road will be in place. It's easy to say now the benefits, but it's hard getting through it. And I want to thank my fellow citizens on that end of town for getting through with it and waiting for late spring, early summer for it to be through. It's a lot, I compare it to wearing a tight pair of shoes. It's going to be a big relief when it's over, but we have to get through with it until that time. And on a sad note, I'm a Rotarian with the Garden Grove Rotarians, and one of our leading members of the Rotarians Club, Don Alexander, who's been a journalist in the Journal, and as well as a long-term Rotarian and very active in this community. It's sad to say that his wife passed away, Gail Alexander, and I'd like to ask the mayor to adjourn the meeting in her honor, her memory tonight. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Dina?
Yes, I want to welcome Troop 1999 as well. When I'm looking at them, I think of my 10-year-old son who just got elevated to the Boy Scout, and I'm hoping that he'll keep at it so that he'll get to be like one of the young men out there. It's been so good for him to be in the Boy Scout, preparation, and also discipline. And also love of country, God, and family. All those values are so wonderful to have and instill in a young man like yourself. And I'm happy that that's being instilled in my son, who's 10. And I hope that, and he's very happy. He loves the Boy Scout. He feels very like they are a family to him. I'm happy that you're here. Also, I just want to remind everyone to buy in Garden Grove, support Garden Grove business, and buy USA-made items to support our USA businesses. We need to support our own. Also, I wanted to mention that Garden Grove always been the top cities to get that Green Award. Is that correct, Matt? We get the Green Award every year for having a lot of trees.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, I'd like to find out why we lost 2 trees. And one of the reasons why I moved to Garden Grove is one day I went to the city hall for something, and I drove in the neighborhood behind the city hall, and I saw the trees, and it was blooming purple flowers, and it was so beautiful. And I thought, I like to live in Garden Grove one day, and I did make a point to move to Garden Grove back in 1999. So I've been happy since. And thank you, and I hope that everyone will have a good Easter coming up.
Very good. Thank you. Chris?
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to thank everyone for coming out today to help with the American Red Cross blood drive. That was very much needed, so thank you, everybody. Also, I want to say thank you to John and to Hayes for all they did for the DUI. It's so shameful of what happened to their daughter, Allison, and I'm glad we have the scouts in the house today because I want you guys to kind of think about it. I know you guys are very responsible. I know we're very, very responsible. But as a deputy DA, I see every day the effects that, when you drink and drive, what that does to not only the families of the victims, but also the perpetrator who are in court or convicted, who goes to jail. So as you young men and ladies get to that age where you're beginning to drink and begin to drive, think about that and tell your friends not to do it because it's not worth it. That's all I have.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing to add.
Okay. I got a couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, two of the fellows got up and talked about building on the parking lot behind Main Street. And this city council took a unanimous vote to not go forward with that project. Now, I think there's a few people out there that want us to make sure that that never, ever happens. And the city council, I mean, we cannot do that. I mean, we can't keep another city council from changing their mind and building behind there. As long as this property is owned by one of the agencies of the city. And the second thing is, I mean, we could really stop it if we, in your minds, we could stop it if we sold the property to the owners of the Main Street there. They all own what they're behind them. They bought that property themselves. Of course, nothing would stop them from building. I mean, they could go forward with a project if they decided. So there is no stopping anybody from building. Someday there may be a project there. And, well, I hope there isn't. But if there is, there's no stopping it. It just goes forward. And it takes a city council with 3 votes to make it happen. And I don't see that happening in the near future. But keep it up. There's no stopping it. Even if you were to put an initiative on the ballot to never build on that property, that wouldn't stand up. They cannot put an initiative, according to our attorney, to change the zoning on that property forever. Just undoable. So you can get up here and say, hey, you ought to do it, you ought to stop it forever. It won't stop forever. We cannot write a law that some other city council can come along and say, well, let's do away with that law. As long as they have 3 votes, they can do it. The transportation thing about the city of Garden Grove and the millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, not one of those dollars is Garden Grove dollar. We voted to say, yeah, go ahead forward with it. We didn't say we're going to put any money in it. And we've approved them going forward with it. Actually, as it turns out, it's not much for us. They're only putting it into city of Garden Grove about 200 feet. And someday they'll have to figure out where to park the streetcars, which is a good place would be at their depot here in Garden Grove, which is in Garden Grove, which is just a few more feet down the track. But the truth of the matter is, he can talk about $300 billion or whatever the cost of it is to put it all the way to Los Angeles, and that's what he's talking about. Garden Grove hasn't put a dime in it. So, water park. Congratulations, Mr. Fattel. Everybody should be giving you a clapping hand, along with Ken Kingsley and a number of other staff members. We have succeeded. They are building they started already. The heavy equipment is over there, and they will be building the water park. It is put together, and someday, 18 months, we will be seeing it. And that will certainly be an attraction for the city of Garden Grove. People will come to that particular hotel because of that water park. A number of us have seen the water park in Dallas. Fantastic. I mean, it's just unbelievable. They've got 800 rooms. They're constantly filled. I mean, our airplane was delayed, and we went downstairs and told them that we were guests of the hotel and that we really needed a couple more hours on our rooms. And they said, that's an impossibility. Those rooms are rented. You know, go ahead and go over to the airport and rest. It was a great thing. I mean, that hotel is full all the time. And we were there during the middle of the week, and the kids, I don't know where they come from. Maybe they ditched school or something, but the place was packed. It is a hotel built for children. I mean, it is a fantastic hotel. Down in the cellar of the hotel, they have this, I saw this big long line of all girls lined up for this thing, you know, and they were lining up to get their nails and their toes done. And it was really funny to see that, but it's all for little kids, and it's a great place. It really is. I mean, you walk along and some tree starts talking to you, and it's going to be an asset to the city of Garden Grove. It's going to bring in a lot of money, which will go in the general fund, and we're looking forward to that especially. So congratulations, Matt. Matt worked, and it was not an easy project. I mean, first of all, we had to put up with the economy for the last 6 years. It's just, you know, really bad, and couldn't find funding for it. And then just about when we could do it, the state of California did away with a redevelopment agency. And so there we were, start all over again. And yet Matt came through that well. And I think our city manager needs a lot of congratulations for that happening.
Thank you.
I have nothing else. We will, I know Don Alexander. I'm sure I know his wife, but I mean, he's certainly, in my opinion, a young man. He couldn't have been over 65, was he? You know, I mean, and his wife passing away, we'll close in her name this evening. Thank you very much.